If somebody falls through the ice and can't get themselves out, there are multiple rescue techniques that you can choose from, and they can all work. To decide which technique to use, consider the consequences of you getting wet as the rescuer. If you were somewhere remote and/or you don't have an immersion suit, getting soaked as a rescuer can make the situation worse for everyone. Here are 3 ice rescue techniques where the rescuer stays on solid ice and manages to stay dry. A simple throw rope rescue is a great ice rescue option, especially when the person in the water is able to hold on and help themselves out. There are lots of throwing techniques that we cover in other videos, such as throwing coils or a full throw bag. A common variation for flatwater ice rescues is to add a loop to the end of the rope that the subject can put their arms through and behind their shoulders. You can do this with a big old overhand knot, which is easy to tie with mitts or cold hands. Note that this loop method would not be appropriate for fast current situations. In current, we never want to throw knots into the river that might entrap someone underwater. But for flatwater rescues, where it can be hard to hold the rope, a loop works great. The next rescue is a lever rescue. The lever rescue works great to pull somebody up and over the edge of very weak ice. For the lever rescue, affix at the middle of your rope either a log or a toboggan or any other long thing that somebody can hold on to. The best knots for this, that you can tie with cold hands, are often the clove hitch or the overhand knot. Throw one end of the rope to the person in the water and have them pull the device towards them. You hold on to the other end of the rope. Tell them to climb onto the object and hold on tight. Now, you pull the rope in, bringing them up and onto the surface and to solid ice. The third rescue is the ET3. The ET3 is another ice rescue technique where the rescuers stay dry and on solid ice. This one can be great if you have 2 rescuers and the person in the water is now so cold that they are beyond the point that they can catch or hold on to the rope. Start by finding roughly the middle of the rope. Now, standing about 1.5 meters or 5 feet apart, both throwers make coils from the middle of the rope towards their end of the rope. Now, the throwers have the coil in their inside hands and the end of the rope in their outside hands. It is best if one person throws with their left and the other with their right. You want to coordinate your timing, as in 1, 2, 3, throw. To avoid knots, don't do practice swings. Because you want to throw a wide loop, the thrower on the left should aim a bit to the left, and the thrower on the right should aim a bit to the right. Once the rope is around the subject, bring it snug and against their back. Then, cross lines to create a cinch. Both rescuers should stay low and be careful not to pull the rope over their head. Slide the rope under their hands. You may need to get the person to tap one hand at a time to get the rope underneath their arms. Now, pull them up and out of the water. With both rescuers pulling, you'll find that pulling the person out of the water is easier than with a single throw rope rescue. With all of these techniques, you can instruct the subject to try to get their feet up behind them to the surface of the water and to kick in order to help get them out. So there you have it. 3 techniques that require minimal gear to get someone who's fallen through the ice, where rescuers are able to stay dry and on solid ice, and in a setting where having additional people get into the water would be a high risk. If you're carrying a rope for winter travel, carrying it in a dry bag will keep the rope dry until you need it. If your rope gets wet and below freezing conditions, it can quickly turn into a block of ice.